Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Cameron.
It's Marissa.
And today we will be summarizing chapters 15 through 28 of Schindler's List.
Gen Z edition. Did you know elderly were getting taken to salt mines and being sealed inside?
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
Conditions and suffering increased in the ghetto. Spirit is tasked with creating lists.
Children sent to Tarnow will be shot, Studhof to be drowned, or to Breslau to be indoctrinated, deracinated, or operated on.
And the elderly are taken to salt mines to be sealed in chambers.
Oscar witnessed people being dragged out of their homes, beaten, or killed.
OD had to do this to their own people. If you failed to deliver a family onto the street, your family paid the price.
Schindler and Ingrid saw a line of women and children form. Redcap was among those in the line.
Schindler watched as Redcap had to witness brutal slaying, which deeply disturbed Schindler.
He soon realized the reason she was allowed to witness is because she would soon be dead.
Thaddeus Pinkovich ran a pharmacy and lived above it.
Just outside was Peace Square, where Jewish people were lined up to be taken away.
Thaddeus witnessed great horrors, including children lined up to get shot.
Redcap among them managed to escape and hide in her home.
A quote said by Oskar Schindler, "Beyond this day, no thinking person could fail to see what would happen. I was resolved to do everything in my power to."
Do you know what the Jewish Combat Organization is?
No, I don't.
Judenrat didn't tell the ghetto dwellers about the camps because it would cause panic.
Oscar learns more about Bachner, who got sent to a camp and returned 8 days later.
No one knows how he got out or why he came back to Krakow. Bachner says what he saw.
When he got there, Jewish were stripped of their clothes and had to shave their heads.
The SS told them their hair was needed for something special, continuing the false hope for their usefulness.
Later, they were led to baths and inhalation rooms and told to breathe deeply for full disinfection, and they were gassed.
It took 2 days before they were officially killed. Bachner hid in the porta potty for 3 days and escaped during the night.
Recorks went bankrupt. Jareth, his box factory friend, convinced Oscar to build a refugee camp.
Oscar got disapproved by saying it's a rest area for the night shift.
Since Oscar did this, it endangered him and he needs to be careful.
More influential men are starting to be sent to Auschwitz.
Bosco is in charge of the ghetto's border. He smuggled dozens of children out of cardboard boxes.
Bosco wanted to save everyone and attempted to, but soon died because of it.
Jewish combat organization known as ZOB is protecting the Jews.
ZOB got old SS uniforms and planted a bomb, killing 7 SS and injuring 40.
ZOB would continue to attack Nazi forces and properties.
They arranged 2 of Spira's lieutenants to be killed. Others that were asked to make lists put themselves and their family on in protest.
Oscar and Jareth planned for a second shelter. Did you know Sedlacek had learned about Schindler's List before meeting him?
Oh, that's interesting.
Sedlacek is a Jewish Australian dentist that came to Krakow from Budapest.
He pretended to be traveling on business, but was a part of a Zionist rescue organization.
And he heard about Schindler's List.
Major Franz von Korab was a friend of Dr. Sedlacek.
He took Dr. Sedlacek to Oscar.
Sedlacek asked Oscar what he knew about that concentration camps.
Oscar tells him what he knows, and even Sedlacek is in shock.
He asked Oscar to come to Budapest to tell them of the horrors.
He is given money for his efforts, which he gives to his contacts.
Wolken, who was a keeper by trade, was visited by an OD man who needs 4 jewelers.
Wolken and the 4 jewelers were taken to the SS Economic and Admin main office.
They were to inspect and sort jewels, including bloody gold teeth.
The jewelers feared their own teeth being taken.
Wolken then worked at a metal factory under SS Gala.
He fears that he can never be saved.
Did you know how much power the SS had?
Unfortunately, I do.
Oscar travels to Hungary. It is risky, so he hopes no one's seen where he went.
Oscar arrives to his temporary quarters and was visited by Castor and Springman, 2 men from Sedlacek's organization.
Oscar tells them about the violence. They had to accept that 3/5 of the Jews disappeared to camps.
These were called Finnish Tombslager, aka extermination camps.
They asked if SS men are corrupt. Oscar says every single one is.
Oscar is regularly to visit Sedlacek in Krakow.
Wolken then worked at a metal factory under SS Gola.
He fears he can never be saved. Did you know Jewish would get shot for the littlest things?
Oh my gosh, it's cruel.
Oscar returned by freight car to Krakow, predicting the ghetto to be closed soon.
Eamon Goeth was hoping, after consulting with higher ups, he could clear the ghetto in a month.
10,000 Jews remained in the ghetto and worked in factories at the Plzow camp.
It was expected that German supervisors would want to move their operation to the camp.
Goeth got a look at the unfinished camp and got excited.
Local factory owners had a meeting with Goeth.
Turner explained that positives of moving businesses, he wanted to win Oscar and Madrix over the most.
Madrich agreed and Oscar refused. They were given a tour of the camp and saw the terrors.
An SS officer got in an argument with the Jewish woman. She argued her point, and the SS officer said she was lying, and so they shot her.
This showed that prompt and anonymous labor is their only chance. Did you know how bad the Holocaust affected Oscar's mental health?
I can only imagine.
Oscar wanted to see Goeth with a bottle of liquor, planning on telling him he cannot move business to Plzow.
He can't move because his equipment was heavy duty with the special quirks that his workers were already used to.
If they moved, the quirks might change. His settling period would take longer than others, and change would delay production.
Goeth says he understands and would provide a guard to escort workers.
Stern found Oscar depressed, saying he could only tell them to not resist.
Stern tries to keep his hopes up, fearing what Oscar may do if he gives up.
The ghetto was cleared out, wiping 7 centuries of Jewish Krakow.
Goeth felt untouchable. SS Hugar went to the hospital in the ghetto to shut it down.
Dr. Blow tried to explain the youth should not be moved. SS Hujar proceeded to shoot her in the head.
A few patients seen and were quickly shot. Dr. H gave stenicide to his 4 patients to prevent them from a violent death. Did you know there were escape routes throughout the town?
That's smart.
Pfefferberg and his wife Mila waited to be ordered out of their homes in the ghetto.
They were told about an escape route through sewers by Dr. H, who planned on using it with his wife.
Mila was worried it would be gassed.
No officers came, and Poldick was informed Dr. H and his wife fled to the sewers.
When they arrived, the building was empty and Mila was gone.
Poldick asked a neighbor where she was, and he said she was headed to Plzow.
He looked for a hiding spot, but witnessed an SS member killing a woman and throwing her 2 or 3-year-old against the wall.
Okay. Poldick acts as a soldier, guessing Goeth's rank, and reports he received to clear roads.
Goeth laughs and tells them to scram.
He runs, realizing he may have been the last one alive in the ghetto.
Or the last one alive could have been Wolken, a jeweler.
He attempts to bribe an OD officer to protect his wife and son.
All OD had to be out of the ghetto at 6 and headed to Plzow.
Some OD men hid the Wolkens in the transport wagons.
More than 4,000 were discovered and executed overnight.
Their bodies were buried near the camp. Do you know who the chief of the Jewish police is?
No.
A former prisoner known as M shared his account of the first execution.
No prisoners were seen as a witness, as they would not live to be testified.
Goeth began killing random prisoners. He would start his morning with a sniper.
Goeth began breaking the promises he made to the entrepreneurs that he wouldn't interfere with the businesses.
He began detailing prisoners for hours, holding up shifts. Madrich called Oscar, saying he should complain.
Oscar had the idea of starting his own camp to have his workers. An engineer writes a support letter, and Goeth and other SS officers approved.
He has to meet standards and fund it all. They don't believe he is doing this for his business.
They suspect he is trying to help the Jewish people, but they want his money, so they approve it.
Goeth took some food from the camp.
He sold through the black market through a Jewish man.
Hunger spread throughout the camp.
Oscar offered the house workers from other companies, which they approved.
Oscar requests the help of engineer Adam Guard. Goeth sees Guard being escorted by a single guard and questions them.
They say he works with Schindler, and Goeth lets him go.
Later, Goeth meets with Willick, who is the chief of Jewish camp police.
He suggested sending Guard to Schindler full-time after he finishes his observatory.
Goeth treats Guard poorly and ends up shattering his hand.
In order to show his worth and successfully transfer to Oscar, he hides his wound. Did you know Plzow holds 30,000 people?
Wow.
Prisoners began competing with each other after learning about Oscar's camp in Mialia.
Dolik Horowitz, a purchasing officer at Plzow, knew he couldn't go to Emalia but hoped his wife and kids could.
Horowitz, a valued worker for Bosch, begged him to ask Oscar to take his family. To surprise Oscar, agreed.
Regina Perlman, a Jew with forged South American papers, secretly brings food to her parents in Plazao and wants them sent to Amalia.
In disguise, Regina visits Oscar, reveals her forged papers and plates for her parents.
Suspicious, he dismisses her, but takes their names weeks later. They arrive at Amalia.
A campaign in Plazao aimed to get Rabbi Menashe to Amalia.
Stern, who lacks Rabbi Menashe, warns Oscar that Goethe may kill him.
Plazao holds 30,000 people. Goethe seeks to clear them out to make room for new arrivals.
Goethe singled out the rabbi, posing as a metal worker, and tested him. Angry at his output, he tried to shoot him, but the gun jammed.
The rabbi claimed his machine was recalibrating. Goethe hit him and let him go.
Oscar got Rabbi Menashe and his wife to Amalia. Did you know how risky Oscar's job was?
I started to see that.
Oscar's business is spending a lot of money on food. This could get him in trouble.
Senior officers visited Amalia, as all camps get a visit.
An officer sees a prisoner named Lamus moving too slowly.
Officer Grunt and Goeth's bodyguards. Grunt accepts vodka from Oscar not to kill Lamas.
Dr. Sedlacek visits Oscar a second time in Krakow. They think buying Goeth fancy liquor will calm down.
Oscar and Goeth meet at Goeth's place with his girlfriend. She soon left to give them space.
Oscar tries to tell a drunk Goeth to tone down his violence. He seemed to take it well and calm down a bit.
Sedlacek meets Oscar again with a Jew named Babar, who has a Swiss passport.
Oscar introduces them to Stern, who thinks this is a huge risk.
Sedlacek and Babar take a look at the camp and pictures to report. Did you know Oscar got blackmailed?
Uh-huh.
Dr. Soap, an SS physician, noticed a prisoner with a fake Aryan papers linked to a man who invested in Amalia.
Suspecting Oscar's involvement, he blackmailed him.
Oscar paid on the condition the prisoner would be kept safe.
Did you know they separated genders at the camps?
Really?
Raymond Tisch, an Austrian Catholic who manages Madrid's uniform factory.
Tisch takes photos of Goeth's camp.
Odessa post-war secret society of former SS men. They later listed Tisch as a traitor for supplying prisoners with bread.
The film didn't get developed until after he died.
General Schindler wanted to inspect Madrid's clothing factory to see if it was necessary.
Oscar met with the general and had a big dinner.
During the inspection, the power circuit was broke by Stern's friends.
The myth says that the power outage in Oscar's large mill and the Plazao people were saved.
Joseph Blau snuck into the Plazao camp because he didn't have the right ghetto papers.
Romance wasn't permitted during this time.
Around January 1994, camps were classified as concentration camps and under the control of General Oswald Pohl.
Previous authorities no longer held the sway they used to.
Oscar traveled to Berlin to meet those now in charge.
The chief, Richard Glucks, had a procedure lined out for everything that could happen.
Oscar wanted his current staff permit.
He mentions talking with Colonel Lornge and wrote him a letter.
He tells Oscar that it is never safe or guaranteed.
New rules with sex separation cause couples to mimic bird calls to meet when they can.
An SS officer came to patrol and also caught a couple together.
A siren went off and the male rushed back to his cabin. They were looking for 3 escapees. Did you know Plazao became safer?
That's good, I guess.
Goeth allowed Henry Rosner to play the violin for Oscar's birthday.
Henry reassured Oscar that his family is safe at Plazao because Goeth values him.
They brought Oleg to the camp for his safety as well.
Under new rules, Plazao is safer because Goeth can be held liable and required to compensate for any killings.
All the ghetto police were killed after clearing the ghettos, showing that no obedience could save you.
Oranienburg sent a letter to Goeth advising him to be careful with the future disposal of bodies so they can be retrieved later.
Oscar says he will at least get Stern out.
Did you know people hid in latrines to save their lives?
Really?
Frau Kochman, a young German woman, and Mietek Pemper, a studious young prisoner, are both typists.
Pemper worked for the Goeths before working for Oscar. Pemper had a photographic memory and stood out to Goeth.
Eventually, it would lead to the hanging of Goethe.
Pemper saw classified documents asking how many Hungarians could temporarily be held at Plzeň.
Goethe answered with Plzeň was up to capacity. However, he could accept 10,000 prisoners.
Even though he could liquidate unproductive elements and ship reject prisoners to Auschwitz.
Dr. Blank, an SS physician, kills the sick prisoners by injection.
1,400 adults and 268 children were to be shipped. Oleg hid in the ceiling of a hut with 2 other kids, and 10 kids hid in latrines.